On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
The fact that the majority of teachers are women, are you asking how that affects people? Or are you asking, are the school systems to blame for feminism? Those are two different questions.
Well, the fact that women, I've seen a lot of women growing up. I rarely when I went to school, I rarely seen male teachers. So the fact that there were women more present within the school systems, are they to blame?
Okay, so my thought about that is like, now that after I heard the responses, I was like, okay, this is a different question. Just because a woman is a teacher in a class doesn't mean that she is promoting feminism at all. So I think that would need to be clarified first in terms of the question that was asked. Mute yourself while you're breathing.
No, I'm not.
I think that would have to because
we're gonna have to renegotiate her contract, bro. Real talk, bro.
All right, if you guys are just tuning in, welcome to Lapeef Let's Talk. Make sure you guys. Okay, come on, ladies, we're moving on. Just tuning in. Make sure you guys get them likes up. Also, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. We appreciate the super chats that's been coming in. We are acknowledging them. Moving on to our next topic. I want to ask you guys a question. How many hours in a week would you say kids spend in school? Pre-pandemic, of course. Just on a regular. Just like, yeah.
40 plus, ain't it?
40.
How long they spend in school per day or year?
Per week.
It's like 40 plus.
Well, 5 days, 30 to like 40 hours a week, a job.
Okay. Did you guys agree? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
When you were in school, how many men were teachers that wasn't the gym teacher or the music teacher?
Man, I talk about this all the time because I have a bigger plan about this. But I always talk about this. There are not many male, especially Black male teachers. There just aren't. I think it might be one of the smallest demographics, I think, in the teaching profession. In my whole time, kindergarten through 12th grade, bachelor's degree and master's degree, I had 2 Black professors in undergrad, and then I had my driver's ed teacher, and then my kindergarten, well, she was a woman. So yeah, my driver's ed teacher sophomore year and 2 Black professors that were men. So my whole life, and I went to so much school, only 3.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll say I can count on both hands. So maybe like 10 over the course of my elementary to master's level.
What? That's good.
But there were 10 men?
10 teachers as professors. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So we got over 40 plus hours kids are spending in school.
Mm-hmm.
We have predominantly women that are teachers. At least I think I might have saw 2 in my elementaries from 1st to 8th grade. I might have saw 2 male teachers. The question I have for the panel is, are the school systems to blame for feminism? Are the school systems to blame for feminism?
Are you talking about like K to 12 or beyond?
Systems in general.
Oh, okay, so even at the college level?
When I think about more elementary.
Okay.
Start with you, Rilla.
Okay.
I don't know that the school systems are necessarily to blame per se, but I do know from a personal perspective, and let me say this, I'm with Lauren. I think I probably through my matriculation, I probably had like 10 male teachers, professors in my academic career. Some more influential than others. But when I think about necessarily blaming the school system, I do know that's where we find the overwhelming majority of women leading and instructing and guiding and giving the curriculum and so on and so forth. I don't know that, I don't know if it's to blame for feminism, but I do know that's where we largely see like a lot of the ideology. And especially in public schools, we see a lot more of liberal leaning policies and ideology associated with feminism coming from there.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, Rilla. In the line of work that I'm in right now, there's a lot of women leaders and administrators. And in turn, they're also hiring like more women, although it is a common fact, like to Kay's point, that male teachers are lagging. And it could just be there's not a lot in the field, or they're just not coming to specific areas. But I say all that to say that the narrative is leaning toward the liberal side, like to Rilla's point, but then also really kind of preaching the feminism, stance in so many ways. So I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as to say like it's to blame, but it definitely has a huge impact on shaping minds of our future generation for sure.
Okay. Okay. Are the school systems to blame for feminism?
At a K to 12 level, I would say absolutely not. As you get, into higher ed, maybe undergrad, I think that there are, classes and different organizations and things that may propagate certain rhetoric as it relates to feminism. But in elementary school, no, I would say no.
Okay. Anton, are the school systems to blame for feminism?
I wouldn't say that they're to blame. I don't think that anything is to blame for feminism wholeheartedly. I think that it's very difficult to say the school system, because even teachers, if anybody are familiar with the school system, they are just the enforcers. They are not the ones that shape the policy, especially within the school systems. But I don't know. That's a multi-layered question that I'm not even really fully prepared to answer, because I don't have enough understanding about the school system per se. But when you have, like, for me, it was very different because, like, in middle school, I went to private school and I had a lot of male teachers. As a matter of fact, the private school that I went to, we didn't have a lot of female women teachers in that environment. So, it was a little bit different. And even when I got to high school, we had a lot of male teachers where I went. That was like some real hardball, yo, get the fuck out of my class if you're not going to do what you're supposed to do type of dudes. You know what I'm saying? So I come from a completely different environment and cloth where I was still surrounded by a lot of male teachers. So it's very difficult for me to answer that question honestly. But I wouldn't say that, just if I had to guess, I wouldn't say that they are responsible for feminism per se. I would just say that the way in which they embrace certain lifestyles and ways by which they do things, it starts with the children. And so I feel like the implementation of a lot of this stuff, it does fall a little bit into that space. But I would not say they are to blame, no.
Go ahead, Kay. You had a question?
Yeah. Because I think that sometimes these questions, I don't think that the question is what you're meaning to ask. So I just want to get some clarity. So when you say, are the school systems to blame for feminism, the first thing I thought was like, first wave, second wave, third wave feminism. Are you saying, is the fact that most teachers are women an issue? Like, is that what you're asking? Because
Yeah.
you started asking
it's part
about
of
male
it.
versus
Yeah.
female teachers. And honestly,
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it. Just your experience, just what you seen when you was going in the school systems.
So like, but are you asking, I know they're gonna eat me up in the comments. Are you asking though, is the presence, the fact that the majority of teachers are women, are you asking how that affects people? Or are you asking,
Yes.
are the school systems to blame for feminism? Those are two different questions.
Well, the fact that women, I've seen a lot of women growing up. I rarely when I went to school, I rarely seen male teachers. So the fact that there were women more present within the school systems, are they to blame?
Okay, so my thought about that is like, now that after I heard the responses, I was like, okay, this is a different question. Just because a woman is a teacher in a class doesn't mean that she is promoting feminism at all. So I think that would need to be clarified first in terms of the question that was asked. Mute yourself while you're breathing.
No, I'm not.
I think that would have to because
we're gonna have to
seriously,
renegotiate her contract, bro. Real talk, bro.